I have always known that I was a bit different. That might seem like a strange place to start, but it is, without a doubt, the thing that I've always known to be most true about myself. Throughout my 25 years on this planet, my identity has changed over and over again. I've had hundreds of hobbies, heaps of hairstyles, dozens of different attempted friendship groups, and a never-ending list of future goals. Nothing about me has ever been constant, apart from this deep-rooted knowledge of being different somehow. I knew that I was different at the age of 3 when my nursery teacher would try to encourage me to play with the other children in my class, but I was much more interested in spending each day sitting in the exact same chair, on the exact same table, in the exact same room, doing the exact same activity of painting by numbers. I knew that I was different at the age of 7 when I would lie awake in my groovy chick-themed bedroom with thoughts racing around my head for hours on end and repeatedly tell my mum that I just wish my brain would shut up. I knew that I was different at the age of 10 when it seemed as though the highlight of all the other children in my class's day was playtime, but my biggest joy came from beating the school's times tables record speed. This would still be one of my proudest moments to this day had my younger brother Lewis not beaten my record 2 years later. I knew that I was different at the age of 11 when everybody in my year at secondary school seemed to be forming solid friendship groups, but I was receiving online hate messages about how annoying and intense I was. I knew that I was different at the age of 13 when I started having panic attacks and was given a timeout card at school so that I could take myself out of lessons when things all got a bit too much. I knew that I was different at the age of 17 when all my peers were accepting offers to go to university, but I was housebound, unable to speak, and debilitated by the impending change. I knew that I was different throughout my early 20s when I had this overwhelming sense that everybody seemed to be handling life so much better than I was, and I was constantly questioning whether they all felt like they were pretending to know how to be a grown-up too. I have always whirred through life at 100 miles an hour, both internally in my racing thoughts and externally as I looked for something to satisfy and stimulate me in whatever places I could find it. I've always felt as though I was in my own little bubble somehow, and I have never quite managed to fit in with the people around me. And because of this, being different is something that has always been firmly rooted in the beliefs I've held about myself. Up until very recently, though, I had never been given a reason why. For 24 years, despite many trips to my GP, many conversations with my parents about never fitting in, and many Google searches about what could possibly be wrong with me, I was never given any answers. I was never told that anything was special or unusual about me. I had always excelled academically, and so as far as the adults in my life were concerned, I was just a gifted and talented child with what seemed like generalised anxiety disorder. This left my self-worth crumbling. If, as far as everybody else is concerned, you are fine or normal, but no matter how hard you try, you just can't exist, achieve things, or look after yourself in the same way that everybody around you seems to be able to, then after a while, it is inevitable that you'll start to believe that you are broken, damaged, or just generally a bit of a shitty person. I had dropped out of school, been unable to hold down a job, been left out of every friendship group I'd ever been a part of, and seemed to irk everybody around me. I'd undergone round after round of talking therapy, tried several different antidepressants, and read every self-help book I could get my hands on. But no matter what I did, I couldn't seem to be able to get myself right. I was totally convinced that life, for me, would be a case of surviving rather than thriving. But then, during the summer of my 24th year, after a conversation that happened purely out of luck, everything changed.